tangamana nawe manake ndio mechi ambazo tunaziangazia katika makala ya mwanzo kabisa, staftahi ya makala haya ya The Football Slip. Kabla ya kuangalia slip yangu, kwanza tuangalie mechi ni gani na gani, yani unaona the 10 matches. Kabla ya kuangalia slip yangu, Okedi, anyway, Spurs watakuwa nyumbani against Newcastle, Bournemouth against Everton, Brighton against Arsenal, Fulham against Ipswich, alafu Liverpool, Man United at Anfield. Hizo ni games za EPL. Alafu Fiorentina against Napoli, Monza against Cagliari, AS Roma will be at home against Lazio, Lille against Nantes, alafu Lyon against Montpellier. Hizo ni games za Ligue A, au sio? Tuangalie Mapinduzi Cup. Robi, sindio? Tuangalie Mapinduzi Cup rakadaka fixtures. Manake the national team Harambee Stars is in Bongo for Mapinduzi Cup. So tomorrow, Kesho, Burkina Faso against Harambee Stars. Alafu of course Tanzania against Kenya. Tuanze na hapa pengine just briefly, Robi.
Kenya versus Burkina Faso at Gombani Stadium. Yes. I'm looking forward to this match, having in mind that Kenya Saizi, it's under a new coach, that new interim coach, that is Francis Kimanzi. I'm looking forward to see what the home-based players can do in this tournament. More specifically, I'm looking at one player that I've seen impress at FC Leopards. That is Kelly Madada. He's been very, very influential at Ingwe. So I'm trying to see what he will do at the national team. Aside from that, also we saw Abud Omar being given the captaincy of this team. So it's very, very interesting. He's been in the national team for, I think, more than 10 years. Experience in that. So I'm also waiting to see that. And again, we'll wait to see what Arnold Origi is the goalkeeping coach. So tunangoja kuona if he's brought in something new into this team. There's a lot of expectation surrounding how Harambee Stars will be performing in this tournament. But when you put us vis-a-vis Burkina Faso, this is a team that we used to beat years back. Uko 2-4. But right now,
mara mwisho tuliwapiga.
Uko 2-4. Right now they have their team you can't compare to Kenya, but they are bringing also their local based players to see how well they can perform against Kenya. Awaleti kina Tapsoba, hapana. Kina Tapsoba wanabaki huko Germany. So it will be very, very interesting to see how this goes.
So even as we're looking at the fixtures, you know, Burkina Faso against Kenya, TZ against the host TZ against Kenya, of course, and Kenya versus Zanzibar. We'll look at the selection, you know, Kimanzi's team, this team.
Hassan, even before we go into the selection, we also have to ask ourselves the quality of the tournament, having in mind that Burundi pulled out, Uganda also
nyingi ya timu zilijiondoa.
So pia uzuri timu ziko kwa nini ya Kenya hazijajiondoa. Ni hiyo group nyingine wamejiondoa.
Mimi nahisi kwamba Hassan, ili ni dimba ambalo Kimanzi kabla ya mashindano haya ndio tunajua kwamba alisema kwamba hana mipango ya kuendelea kuwa kocha. Lakini hili ni shindano ambalo iwapo Kimanzi atasalia ama ataambiwa tulia kwanza ukue kocha, ama kocha mpya atakuja,
Kimanzi atasalia.
Ni mashindano ambayo yatampa kocha mpya nafasi ya kuchagua kikosi ambacho atakuwa nacho katika michuano ya CHAN. Na pia ni kikosi ambacho hasa pia kitawapa wale wa Kenya nafasi ya kutambua kwamba vijana hapa nyumbani pia wanaweza anzishwa na wanaweza cheza mashindano.
Beria wants to directly quote Kimanzi, but I believe you have what Kimanzi said. Can we listen to what Coach Kimanzi said? Okay. I think we have that bite. Can we listen to what that is Francis Kimanzi, what he had to say about this?
First of all, it's important. At least we had a list of provisional list of 26, and after the New Year's Eve break that we gave them, at least they have all returned well, healthy and fit. So it's also good that they are back. For the recovery training this morning, this afternoon, I mean, also some good progress in development of what we left behind. So they look fresh, they look ready, and they look fitter. What is important for us, and we are focusing so much to prepare a team that has a different mentality and the character. So if we succeed to achieve that, I think they can compete. They can compete for sure, but we have to keep on building the character of the team.
Kwa sababu wanajua ile job wanafaa wapige hapa Kenya na wamekuwa wakipiga for long time. So kitu tunataka ni itupatie platform na itupatie mazoezi ya kutackle CHAN. So ama player ni kama hiyo tuona Mapinduzi ni kama platform ya kujionesha wanaweza na wataturepresent poa hii CHAN.
Sadiq Musumba, we're still talking about Mapinduzi Cup, and you know what? After Mapinduzi Cup, Francis Kimanzi will hand over the reins of the national team of Stars. Atakuwa amependuliwa. No, on a lighter note. But let's look at the squad that was selected by Francis Kimanzi. What do you make of it? I mean, there's so many new faces there. Kuna some enterprising players, you know, exciting players. Mohamed Bajaber,
Raj.
Majina, unajua? Exciting players.
I would have actually embraced that terminology, enterprising, if at all the result would have been forthcoming. But this team does not fall far from what we saw playing against Southern Sudan. And the names and experienced players that are there, if at all they are going to grace the pitch, they still doesn't fall far from the result that I'm predicting. Because remember, the strength of the league gives you a good team. Currently, as we speak, our league is ailing. And the players that we are really carrying to this particular tournament are coming from the same league. So the result shouldn't actually be something that people should be thinking of otherwise. It's not falling from the moon. If this team was to grace this particular tournament in 2016, and I will tell you for free, that even me will be gracing and yearning to watch how they play. But you go by how our league is really currently is. Gor Mahia has just from police representing us for continental showbiz. Where did it end? It ended in America. And those are the
But today is talking about transition. Are we going to have a transition with different coaches or managers?
So what I'm preparing fans, let them actually not draw a lot from this particular team.
Yes.
Because the result that this team is carrying there is not far from what we have seen last year. And if you go with that mentality that Kenya is big in East Africa, that we need to win,
no, the
it
good
won't
thing
be the
is
same.
we also have players that are in this team that have been playing for the national team for a number of years. Case in point, you have Bruno Onyango, you have Austin
Alfonso
Odhiambo, yeah, you have Omija, you have Sylvester Wino, you have even Brian Odhiambo. Yes. I mean, there are a number of players that have played for the national team on different occasions, on high-level matches.
Yes.
So probably if they are played in these games, and then you bring in a number of players that you see.
So as to mention, Robbie,
yes.
And I like that particular angle, the discussion. You know, I like this kind of discussion when it comes. So as to say,
yes,
those players, the one that actually we fielded playing against Sudan, which is a very young nation in Africa. But what were the results? It wasn't shortcoming. What I'm still trying to drill deep into people's head is that this player culminates from the unailing league. And the result shouldn't be far from what we should be expecting. If our league was somewhere, a league that is presenting, putting out teams that are actually gracing CAF up to maybe quarter-final,
yes,
then the result should become, remember, TZ that we are facing,
yes,
their teams, Yanga and Simba, they are where? They are flying high in African continent. These are the players that you are going to face. And the TZ which is actually gracing Africa Cup of Nations, the majority of their players are coming from their league, which they are local. Yes. They are the players who are going to face our league that is really struggling. Though the result against Tanzania shouldn't be quite amusing.
So it's not all lost. There's a new sheriff in town.
Thank you.
We have a new,
on that
new leadership.
On that parting shot, I wanted just to tell you maybe to end this.
Yes.
What I like it most is that the technical bench is somehow different one from what we have embraced. And if you go by the faces that we are seeing here, we are seeing international faces. Mariga has graced a very high stature, and I think even him, he's struggling to put up the team. He knows very well, but given time, maybe he will find a team. And if you put every structures into place, then he will start getting a team. It takes time. It takes 3, 4, 4 years.
Actually, Mariga, sorry, Robbie, Mariga is in charge of
technical.
The team that will be looking for someone who will replace
Takeover.
Francis Kimanzi.
So what Cedric is basically saying ni tunaanza upya. So it's a fresh start. So yes, I mean, probably you are wondering where Rogers Shtemi is. He's not part of us. Rather, he's not here in studio today. He traveled. Alienda Western. I'm sure he was playing in those zile tournaments.
Na kuna tournaments nyingi Western. Zimekuwa nyingi.
Labda amekuwa akicheza hizo
timu ya wazee
za huko akisema yeye ni talent ibuka wakipima magoti.
Masengeli Cup.
The other guy that is Daniel Kariuki, of course, he could not make it today. Mtu wa Murima haku make it.
Lakini alipeana shati.
Representation shati ndio hii hapa. So let's get into your predictions for this weekend. The 10 games that we had, 10 games that we have on our slip. So Hassan, tuanze na yako kwanza.
Sasa bana, tuende. Okay, hii ndio itakupatia maziwa ya mtoto. Maziwa inatoka hapa. Angalia, Spurs versus Newcastle, Sedo. Umeanza kusmile. Okay. Spurs Newcastle over 1.5. Bournemouth Everton over 1.5. Brighton Arsenal of 1.5. I'm seeing goals there, right? Fulham Ipswich. Fulham will win. I have a feeling Fulham will win because they are at home. Team Simba imenyoka.
Ipswich pia sio mbaya.
Ndio maana nasema
Ipswich wamepata wins back to back.
If worst comes to worst, it could be a draw. But
or Ipswich win.
Draw mabao. Hakuna we. This is my slip.
Hassan.
Unaingilia na slip yangu.
Hassan, you learned a new trick. When predicting this, ni kama umelana new trick.
Unajua bora naweza smile hivi. Alafu jamaa kuja na of 1.5
hapa nikiekelea kama so pesa naweza pata mostly ni 50 bob. As in bonus ya juu unaenda way ya Robinson.
Hapana. Sedo, what do you make of my slip?
Sasa maliza slip yako.
No, ndio hii si watu wanaona tu Fiorentina hapo Napoli over 1.5. Monza mpaka huko chini Lyon Montpellier nimeweka 102.
Unacheza safe.
Safe gani? Tumeanza mwaka. Tumeanza upya bana. What do you make of my sleep?
Ndio maana hatuna hata nini ya last week.
Ni gani?
Si hatuna sleep. So, let's move away from your sleep. We go to Kariuki. Yeah, brother Kariuki. Yes, he's not here today.
Mtu wa Murima.
Ni kama alienda kufanya inaitwaje? Agriculture. Unajua pia ile side nyingine anafanyanga ukulima.
Kilimo.
Anafanya kilimo. So that is why he's away.
Ameenda TZ kufanya kilimo.
So Spurs versus Newcastle. Amesema hii ni game ambayo itakuwa na mabao sana over 2.5. Bournemouth versus Everton. Amesema hapa itakuwa more than 2 goals. Brighton versus Arsenal, it will be goal, both teams to score against each other. Fulham versus Ipswich, it will be Fulham win or draw. Liverpool versus Manchester United over 1.5. Fiorentina versus Napoli over 1.5. And then Monza versus Cagliari either way. Roma Lazio over 1.5. Lille announced Lille to get a win, and then Lyon versus Montpellier, Lyon or a draw. That is what he's predicting.
Naweza change yangu hapo Liverpool na Man United niseme Man United win. Am I allowed?
Tulikuwa shaka one ama
No, you are look at the camera. Camera yako ndio hiyo. Look at your camera.
Guys, Liverpool.
No, the last time Hassan predicted that Man United game.
Look at the camera.
Liverpool will be at home at Anfield against Man United. They are under pressure. Of course, I'm not that they are the top dogs in this match. But I have a feeling Man United with Bruno Fernandes coming back, with the Ugarte back, they could sneak in a win. So watch that space.
Okay, my question is...
Those are emotions.
My question is...
You said the same thing the other time.
This is the question that I have to ask. Mtu ambaye amewambia Man U will beat Liverpool. Does he look confident? telling you that Man U will beat Liverpool.
Okay, no,
The way he's explaining.
See
Robinson.
What is he saying?
The way he's explaining. Anafanya
Confidence
hivi.
inakaje? Confidence ndio sisi tuko. Sisi ndio tuko.
No, confidence. Actually, you would have gone straight, direct to the point, but you have started by redefining your results.
Man U is
why you think?
Liverpool at Anfield.
Acha tuangalie slip yangu for this weekend. Tuangalie slip yangu for this weekend. Of course, Spurs versus Newcastle. This is a game that will have goals over 1.5. Bournemouth Everton, also a game that will have goals. Bournemouth have been so good in scoring in the league. That is why they're in the top 10 so far, over 1.5. Brighton Arsenal. Arsenal currently are on fire, especially Gabriel Jesus. And remember, Kai Havertz is also coming back this weekend. So I give it, there will be goals in that match. Fulham Ipswich, definitely. I expect Dilap to do something in this match. I don't know who will win, but I expect goals. Liverpool versus Manchester United. It might be a 3-0 win for Liverpool, but I go for over 1.5. Fiorentina versus Napoli. Now, Napoli has one of the best defenses in Italy, and Fiorentina has one of the best attacks because they've been scoring goals in for fun in the league, so over 1.5. Monza versus Cagliari, it will go either way. Roma versus Lazio, also either way. Having in mind that Roma are currently reborn under Ranieri, and then Lille versus Nantes, it's Lille a draw, and then Lyon versus Montpellier, Lyon or draw. So let's get to the two biggest games of the weekend. Cedric, let's begin with Roma versus Lazio. What are you expecting in this fixture?
You know, there's this one coach that surprised so many EPL lovers come 2016. And he has been hired, actually has been recalled from retirement. And we have just mentioned Ranieri. Trying to redefine the momentum. And remember, his contract actually is only running until the end of the season. So results are mapped on that particular short period that that particular team has done, started doing wonders. And I think that will be actually the end game of this particular derby. Into the essence that this is a coach who is coming with experience, and he loves actually circling players around him. Player plays for him. Remember, Leicester did not actually win that particular league for anyone else apart from
players playing for him.
Yeah, and that's what is really happening currently in Serie A.
And the biggest one in the English Premier League, Davis Mberia, Liverpool versus Manchester. Unaona hata vile Mo Salah anaangalia hapa. Hata angalia tu vile angalia tu vile
He's ready for Maguire.
Vile ameangalia hata Bruno mwenyewe ameogopa.
Nahisi kwamba nikitizama mechi ya mwisho ya Manchester United wiki iliyopita, walikosa sana yule creative player ambaye angesupply mpira kutoka kati hadi mbele. Unamzungumzia Bruno Fernandes, yupo, Ugarte anarudi. Nahisi kwamba United watakuwa na wamepigwa asa big boost in the midfield, but again ukiangalia pale mbele Kobe Maino inafaa pia aweze kujikakamua, apunguze uzito kidogo, awe mwepesi, si yule Kobe Maino ambaye tulikuwa akija United.
Okay, Davis, wacha story mingi. Who's winning?
Who is winning?
Yes.
Liverpool 2-1 against
2-1.
United.
Cedric, briefly your comment and tell us who's winning.
Preferably, there are two things that people are missing out when it comes to Liverpool. There's a style that Klopp left this team playing, and they were still grinding results. The rig and pressing. Ancelotti has come up with a possession kind of game. And remember how they are playing from their touchline. When they start with the possession kind of soccer, they have their players who presses the game on the bench. When they start with the rig and pressing kind of soccer, they have their possessive players on the bench. When these players comes in, they totally changes the game. When the team is already, the opponent are already getting tired. And that's why Liverpool has been grinding results. And when it comes to the likes of Manchester United, who does not have a formula of how to attack the game in such kind of mannerism, I think Liverpool will win.
Liverpool will win. Okay, let's quickly run through the fixtures that we have for this weekend. A number of matches on the cards, although not all leagues will be in action. We begin with Ligue 1, where you have Saint-Etienne will be taking on Reims. Lille will be in action against Nantes. Lyon take on Montpellier. Angers will be in action against Brest. Lens take on Toulouse. Strasbourg host Auxerre. And Marseille Marseille will be in action against Le Havre. That is in the French Ligue 1. We go to Serie A. Venezia take on Empoli. Fiorentina will be facing Napoli. Verona take on Udinese. Monza will be facing Cagliari. Lecce host Genoa. Torino will be in battle against Parma as Roma versus Lazio clash in the clash of the Titan in the Rome derby. We move away from that, we get into the English Premier League. Spurs take on Newcastle, Bournemouth, Everton, Aston Villa host Leicester, Crystal Palace will be battling Chelsea in the London derby. Man City host West Ham at the Etihad. Southampton take on Brentford. Brighton will be facing Arsenal. Fulham take on Ipswich. Liverpool will be facing Manchester United on Sunday. Those are the fixtures that we have in the league.
Can we listen to Anslot?
You want to listen to Anslot?
Yeah, the Liverpool manager.
Oh, you're about sasa hata umebadilisha.
Okay, hebu cheza hiyo nini sauti ya Anslot anasemaje kuhusiana na